Hey everyone, it's Dev in the dark here again. So, welcome to part 2 of our series of Build Your Rainbow website. In part 1, we created the HTML structure that's like the bone of the website. So today we'll be adding our CSS to actually make it look like a rainbow. So we have some features we're going to be adding. We'll be adding a gradient background. We're adding a rainbow color text. We're having some animation, some text shadow, and a rainbow border around everything. So by the end of this video, your website will be looking so amazing. But if you haven't checked part 1 yet, please pause the video and go check out our part 1. I did put the link in the bio, so you don't need to like scramble through my channel to like find it basically. So, and also make sure that you have your CODEPEN website set up. We just made a tutorial video on that. So let's make our website rainbow. Let's go to our CODEPEN and get started. So now we are in our CODEPEN. As you can see here, we can really see our rainbow site right here. So I'm going to click on it. Let that load up. So in here, you're going to see our HTML code that we had from part 1. So now we're going to be writing our CSS panel, which is CSS basically control how things look. Our HTML is the structure, while CSS is the style. Give it some style, some flavor. We're going to start with the background. Since we are not going to be using our HTML, I'm going to close that. I'm just going to drag that close, and I'm leaving my template like this so that we can see the way I code and also see the changes that is being written. So now the first step we're going to do is to make the entire background a rainbow gradient. So since I'm making the entire background a rainbow gradient, I'm going to start with the body, and I'm going to write body. That's supposed to be all small. So body in like quotations back here, and let's start with background. And remember, I'm saying I want the entire background to be a rainbow, but the style of a rainbow I want it to have like a smooth color transition, right? So it's gonna be a linear gradient. That's a mistake in a linear gradient. The next I'm going to put a bracket, a circular bracket. In my circular bracket, I'm going to tell the computer how I want the gradients to do. So I want the gradient to go from top to bottom. So I'm going to put in top to bottom. So when they see this line of code, it knows that, oh, it's going from top to bottom. For CSS, for any line of code you're writing, please put a comma. Don't forget that. And something I forgot to do is to turn on my autosave. My autosave is on. And also try to press Ctrl Save to ensure that your code gets saved as you're writing it. Let me save. So it's getting saved. Let me confirm my autosave is on. So for the color, I already put in I just made the research of the 7 rainbow colors that we have, which is raw brief. I think that's what we call it from where I'm from. I know some people call it raw G beef. So it's ROYGBIV. So we have different ways of writing colors in CSS. I'm going to start with I'll say middle ground one, whereby for each color there's actually a color code. It's 6-letter words that contains a mixture of numbers and letters to bring a color. So for red, the color code is hashtag FF000. As you can see, the red pop up immediately. So we're gonna put comma. The next color we're gonna put is our orange color. So hashtag. So if you're writing your color like this, you have to put hashtag before the color. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write down the color. And I'm going to fast track how I'm writing the color so that you can slow it down to read it, basically. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm done writing a color. So the next I'm going to do is to try to put my semicolon to ensure that I am closing it. You see, when I made a mistake and put a colon instead of a semicolon, my code wasn't working. So please be careful. You notice that, oh, something not working right in your code, ensure you check it. So as you can see, our code kind of look, our rainbow background kind of looks short. You can see there's a line here and it's restarting the whole color code again. But our purple here is not super bright in the second line. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the height of it. So you say mean, we're going to say mean height. And the default height is always 100 VH. Semicolon. As you can see, that immediately changed the height. You don't have like two lines here that are dividing the color, so that height is being taken care of. So the background fills the whole screen. So the next up thing we're going to do is to there's something called we call margin, and basically margin is to remove any default spacing that we have in the screen. So that will help us with that. And we're going to use something called padding because we want to give add spaces around the edges. As you can see, our L, H, P are all at the edges here. So we're going to add padding to ensure that it's not at the edge. And there we go. You can see that now we have a little bit of spacing right at the edge here before our letters comes in place. So now you can see the way as we're writing it is looking better. So let's makes the main heading the yellow rainbow that we have it. Let's it have a rainbow text. This is like a nice, HTML, sorry, CSS trick. This is a nice CSS trick. So since we are dealing with the main header, so that'll be the one that's H1. You have to give it background. So I'm going to do something very funny since I'm writing basically the same code. I'm going to be changing a few things. I'm going to copy this and put and press Ctrl V to paste. But our HTML, I don't want the flow of the background to be in a top to bottom flow. I want it to go from left to right. So in order to do that, I'm going to change this my total and bottom. I'm going to change it to this right. As you can see, the flow actually is different. It's different. It's very, very different. So we're going to do some little bit advanced CSS. And this is where we have something called the WebKit. So the WebKit helps clips the background to the text. Basically, that's what it does. And we're going to use the background WebKit and we're going to use the text fill color WebKit. The text fill color WebKit helps make the text transparent enough for we to see the changes and all of that. So we're going to go to line 27. Let me check if I can just zoom in. It's going to zoom in everything. So enter, we're going to go to our line 27, type in hyphen. So with WebKit, you have to put your hyphen first before typing WebKit. So WebKit hyphen background. text. And since we're giving it a text, and so let's flip the background. So background. It made a mistake here. So this should be if it's not spacing, so it's readable. So we're going to run that WebKit to fill to make sure our text is transparent. The WebKit text color. So now you can see our text is no longer black, it's more with transparent color. So the background, our H1, either one is now a rainbow text. So I'm going to try and make, because this text looks very, very small, I'm going to make it bigger. So let me see, we use font size to make it bigger. So font size, let me change because the text size to 48 pixels. It's big, it's big. And because we have a lot of radius, so we can't really see the hello. So I'm going to move it to the center. To move the text to the center, we use something called text align. The text align can be to the left, so you can see. Let's say I put to the right. It's aligns to the right. If I want to change to left, I put in left, it aligns to the left. But I want it to be at the center, so I'm going to put center, and now it's at the center. So you can see this rainbow text looks so nice, really, really so nice. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to let each heading get its own color. So we're going to make, my plan is to make H2 red, that's H3 orange, H4 yellow, H5 green, and H6 blue. So I'm gonna show slowly how to do it, and I'm going to speed up the video from H3 to H6. But you remember we already have the color here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to a new line, H2, like curly brackets, and the color I'm going to put the color. So something I just remember now is when you're spelling your color, ensure that you're spelling it COLOR. There's no U in the color. Don't say if you spell color with a U is incorrect. That's correct. But when it comes to coding, it will recognize it. To use my color FF000. So now I've changed the color of my code. In this, as you can see, my H2 now is in this color. Is a red. I'm going to change the font size to, because I want it to be bigger as a font size. You have to change that to 32 pixels. So you can see it's bigger. So there's something called text shadow. So basically, what this text shadow does, it adds a subtle shadow to the text to make it easy to read against because our background is a rainbow background. So we want to make text easier to read against the background that we have. So the text shadow I'm going to put is 2 pixels. I want it big. I want it big. 2 pixels space, 2 pixels space, 4 pixels. And this is a different way to write color. So there's something called RGBA. It has 3 numbers. If you are writing color without getting, you can just put RGB, then the brackets, then the number. Ensure that the number doesn't pass 255 because that's the highest number you can go. The lowest is 0. The number is from 0 to 255 and 8. reduce from there. That gives you more access to like mix your color basically, because as the number increases or reduces, the color changes. So it gives you that much flexibility. Because I'm not trying to add more number, I just want to add shadow to it. So 0.3. As you can see, the text shadow is to add more, no, make your text more readable against the background that we have. So this is everything we're going to do. So what we're going to do from H3 to H6 is to change the color and also change the font size, because they can't all be the same font size, right? So I'm going to change the color and change the font size. So I'm going to speed up the video for this. So I'm going to just copy and paste. So now we are done adding our color. We have from H1, sorry, we have our H1 separate, we have H2 all the way to H6. So the next thing we're going to do is to start our paragraph. We have our paragraph right here. This is my first website. So we're going to start our paragraph because right now our paragraph is a little bit hard to read, and we want to add a little bit of a darker background to our paragraph. So start a paragraph, because in our HTML code, paragraph starts with a P. Paragraph starts with a P. So we're going to change that to a P. So instead of, we start with what each starts for. So that will be P with our curly brackets. And we're going to make the color white. And semicolon. And let me change the font size to, let's see, 15 pixels. As you can see, the font size has changed. So let me add some background color to it. So I'm going to add like a semi-transparent background color. So since we're using background color, let me move my mouse so you can see background color. I'm going to be using RGBA. The reason why I'm adding A is so I can add that transparent here to it. So I'm not changing the color from white. So I'm going to change the. Basically, I'm just trying to change the transparency to 0.5 of the background color I'm trying to add. So next, I'm going to add some padding. Remember what I explained padding here. I'm going to add padding of 15 pixels. This is literally getting bigger. So I'm going to so we are adding padding inside space inside the box. So you notice the box actually got bigger. So I'm going to I want to round the corner. So I'm going to change the border radius. So to make it border radius. Let me add that as 10 pixels. As you can see, our border is rounded. It doesn't have that sharp edge anymore. So next we're gonna add is maximum weight. So the maximum weight is to ensure that no matter how big the screen is trying to adjust, it shouldn't get past this weight. I'm gonna add a maximum weight of 600 pixels. Then I'm gonna add margin so that it centers the text around, like with the space that we have available, right? So let me see, margin 20 pixels. And because I want it to be automatic, I'm going to put auto. So now we are done that. So that's literally all for our rainbow website. I'm gonna add something. So if you want to stick back for let's say about 5-10 minutes, I'll add a finish to hit. So I'm gonna add something that we call a rainbow border. I'll add the rainbow border around the page. This is very very optional, as you know. But I just want it to look a little bit amazing. So there's something we call pseudo element. It's pseudo element basically create an invisible element around the body of your page. So I'm going to create some so that you can go ahead and read more about it. So to create a pseudo element, I'm just going to go to a new line, and since I'm trying to create it around my body, so I have to write body. You have to put double colon then before, so they know you should put it before, right? So basically, I'm gonna make the content black, blank basically. So let's say the rest is content. Sorry, there won't be any content in it because we already have our content already. So I'm going to make the position. Next, I'm going to make this call position. I'm going to make the position fixed so that way it doesn't move around and all that. So the spacing of like top, left, bottom, right. Yeah, I'm going to make that 0 also. Top, left. It also looks nice and readable. So my border, I'm going to give I want it to be a solid transparent border. So I'm going to put in here for my border. I want to add the border around it. So that's basically my main goal. I want border size to be 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels, and I want it to be solid transparent. Transparent. And let me add my border image. So no border color, we call the border image. I want it to be linear because our body is in a linear gradient, so I'm going to make it a linear gradient. Sorry. So I want to make. I'm going to go ahead and copy our color code, copy that, and paste it in. You see, some of the colors are popping out here already. Well, because right here I'm using to right, I'm going to change that to. I want it to be 45 degree. It gives it that nice slant um color. So 45 degree. As you can see, it's 45 degree, right now it's a little bit small, but you can see it right at the corners here. You can see it at the corners here. You can see it at the corners here. So I want it to be big, so I'm going to give it 1. Now it's equally split. But without the 1, you will just see it at our corners, basically. But with the 1, then it expands and split. See, like, doesn't this look pretty? Doesn't it look pretty? The next thing I'm going to add is pointer event and index. So that prevent like when the user is clicking on it, it ensures that it doesn't really respond to any of the clicks, because sometimes like it responds to events. So by the time I go into my JavaScript and writing paper codes into it, the computer knows that when I click something in that border of this our border before, it doesn't respond to any of the click. It totally ignores it. So I'm going to put pointer events. That should be none. It's just there for design. I said index. That should be 9, 9. So this last code body before is a little bit advanced CSS. Hope you enjoy it basically. So let's review what we've added. We've added a rainbow gradient background from top to bottom. We added different colors to our header size. We added text shadows to make our text readable. We added a dark box on our paragraph also to make it readable. And we also added a nice rainbow box frame to our code. So now our rainbow website is 80% complete, I would say, because we have our body and we have our style. So here's a challenge for you. Can you add more text? Try adding different paragraphs just for the fun fact, like adding fun facts about rainbow. Try changing the colors to your favorite color instead of rainbow if you want. Play around with it, and literally, the more you play around with it, the more you learn. You just learned CSS gradient, text styling, shadows, and advanced selector. In part 3, we're gonna add JavaScript to make it interactive. Maybe a button here and there that changes the color and stuff like that. So I want to ensure that please save your CODEPEN. Give it a name like my rainbow site, that way I gave mine. Drop a comment, show me your CODEPEN thing. I want to see what you built at the end of the day of your rainbow website. Once again, I'm Def in the Dark. Keep coding and stay creative. Bye.